Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We are Vacay Mode Travels. That is Sarah. I am Alden. Today we're going to get into the ultimate destination wedding guideline guide and kind of give you an idea of what the month-to-month process leading up to your destination wedding looks like. We talked to so many couples that are wondering how the process works. What should I be doing? When? What are the first steps to getting this going? And that's what we're going to dig into today.
Yes. So the first thing we hear from most of our couples is, how far in advance should I be planning a destination wedding? And so the first thing we want to talk about is when to start this timeline. So we're going to go through all of the nitty-gritty details today, from 15, 18 months out all the way to your special day. And so don't worry, we're going to go through all of that. But one of the things I wanted to mention is a lot of couples, we always recommend reserving your wedding date 12 to 18 months in advance. A lot of couples, it's not that you need that much time to actually plan the destination wedding, but a lot of the really popular resorts and venues book up 18, even 24 months in advance if they only do one wedding a day. So the earlier that you lock in your wedding date and your room block, the better rates that you're going to get for your guests. This ensures all of your guests have one price, they're getting the same price, and the earlier you lock it in, you're going to get a better rate. And with the wedding venues, we want to ensure that you get the venue that you want. Now, when it comes to all the wedding planning details, we're going to be meeting every 6 to 8 weeks to go through every single thing, make sure that we're walking you through step by step that planning process. So that is generally when we would recommend starting, is 12 to 18 months out. Get those rates locked in, get your venue locked in, so you know that you have what you want.
And you're wondering, why is it so far out ahead? Really, it's as destination weddings become more in demand, those dates fill up a lot sooner. And like Sarah said, getting that date reserved and getting that room block started is a little bit of a process, and that's not going to happen in one phone call. So you want to get that going, make sure those dates are available, especially if you have a hard date. Let's say there's a very special date to you, the couple. You want to get married on the 16th and it falls on a Saturday. That's a very popular day, and so the sooner you can plan that and reserve that, the better. So that's why you want to start 13 to 18 months out, get that going, and that's what we're going to look at. 15 to 13 months out before, when you're meeting with us, first question, what is setting your wedding vision? What does that look like? Start with the big picture. What kind of experience are you looking for on your wedding day? We're going to get into all the resort details and what's there to do and all that, but people are showing up for your wedding day, so you want to see, what is that wedding vision look like? Do you want to be in the sand? Do you have a garden? What kind of vibes are you looking for? Really, the setting for your special day is what we want to start out with. The next step is establishing your budget and guest list. Budget is definitely important, and your guest list count will kind of dictate that budget a little bit as well. So we're going to look into travel costs, room availability, vendor packages, all the things that are important to you. If you're looking for a certain photography and videography or florals that can bump up your budget, those are things we're going to discuss and try to get into in that time frame. Narrow down.
Before you jump into that one, I wanted to say also with guest lists, another important factor is how many guests are you actually planning on having at your wedding, because this really matters when we're matching you to the right resort and destination, because some resorts are friendlier and work better with larger groups. Some resorts just don't have the space, or they're so popular they book up so far in advance and maybe they only have 50 rooms, and if you're looking for 60, it's just not enough room. So there could be times where we're looking at a buyout. So having a feel on your guest list and how many people you actually think will show up is an important part of this process.
Good point. Also, if there's a really nice venue that you've been eyeballing and you're expecting 150, 200 or more guests, some venues do have a capacity and they may not be able to house you for that ceremony. So that's why it's really important to get that guest count. Let's say you don't know what the guest count may be. If you say, well, I'm going to invite 200 people, but I may only expect 100 and 150 people, that's still very important to kind of gauge that a little bit, because again, venues do have capacity and that can affect your overall budget.
Yes.
Also, consult with a certified destination wedding specialist. That is us. This is your, during this time, this is when we're going to get to know you, what your style is as far as what you're looking for. I would never wish anyone to plan a destination wedding on their own. So again, it is our goal to introduce ourselves, let you know our services. We're going to kind of lay out a timeline for you and give you an idea of what to expect for the next 12 to 18 months.
Yes, and when you work with us, unlike a lot of destination wedding travel agents, we actually help you with all of the wedding planning, and that is such a great benefit because most destination wedding travel agents don't touch the wedding planning. They connect you to the resort's wedding department and you work with them. And if you're working with them, they might not be working with you on the wedding planning details till a month or 3 months before the wedding, which, as you can guess, would be very, very stressful trying to get all of that done in the last 30, 60, 90 days. So we work with you over the whole year. We meet regularly so we can walk through all of the wedding planning details, make sure that by the time you get connected to the resort's wedding coordinator, you've already made all of the important decisions. We already have a vision, we've locked in your vendors, and when you meet with them, it's really just to do a final review of all of the details and make any last minute adjustments. So the next step in this would be the 10 to 12 months before, and this is when we're going to secure the wedding date with the resort. Now, if you decide on your resort and venue earlier than that, we're going to lock it in earlier than that. As soon as we can, we want to lock in that venue for you so that there's no chance somebody else can take it. We prefer to work with resorts that only do 1 to 2 weddings per day. When there are a lot of resorts out there that will do 4, 5, 6 weddings a day, and as you can imagine, the service gets compromised a little bit in some of these cases. We want your day to be truly and uniquely yours. So we prefer to work with resorts that have take a very hands-on approach. They're working with less couples at once, just so that you have a dedicated coordinator who knows your vision and is focused on you on your special day.
Yeah. I would say don't get discouraged if you do have a resort that does 2 weddings a day. We've been on site for weddings that do 2 to 3 weddings a day, and they manage them very well. Mm-hmm. Each wedding has their own coordinator, and they don't cross paths throughout the resort. So there are some resorts that really can make that process easy.
Yes. Other things that we want to make sure that we have done within that 10 to 12 month before time frame are locking in your room block. As I said earlier in this video, is the earlier you lock in that pricing, the better price you are locking in for your guests. So if you're planning your wedding 6, 9 months out, sure, you could probably still get a room block, but your rates aren't going to be as competitive, and you're probably going to end up with a lot of guests that are saying, I'm finding better prices here or there, and it can make it a little bit harder to get your guests to book in the room block, which helps incentivize you and helps offset your wedding costs. So that is a really important part of this process, is locking in those rates early. The next thing and the last thing in this section would be sending out your save the dates. As soon as we have your room block set, your wedding venue and your date set, the next thing is to send out those save the dates. You want to give your guests as much time as possible to plan for your destination wedding, whether that is time off of work, it's monetary and they need to save for it. You want to give them as much time as possible. So sending those save the dates, preferably a year in advance, is the best practice, just to give your guests plenty of time.
And kind of gives you an idea of putting some feelers out, who's going to go, who absolutely can't make it, and the sooner you can get those numbers, the better.
Yes, and once we do have your room block set and your wedding date set, we're going to build you a booking website for your destination wedding. This is where all of your guests will go. It'll have all of the information, FAQs, and they'll be able to actually book and reserve their room. We'll give you a QR code so you can include that on your save the dates. That way guests can go right there and book their room. Makes it very smooth and simple for everybody.
Yes. All right, now we're getting into 9 months out. None. 8 to 9 months beforehand, things are starting to move a little bit faster. Plan a pre-wedding site. I really love it when couples take the time to go visit their on-site. You have a lot of couples that really, maybe they haven't visited this area or something. They're very curious what the weather and just what the lay of the land is going to be. They really, really want to be hands-on about that, and that's great. I think it's good, especially when couples say, hey, my wedding's a year out, I want to get married in May. So this May, I'm going to go out there, check it out now, and kind of get a feel for, exactly what the weather and everything is going to be like the following May.
And this gives you such an amazing peace of mind. So many of our couples come back from their pre-wedding site visit. They're like, oh my gosh, you picked the best spot. We absolutely love this resort. We're so happy with our choice. We met the wedding team. We got to try the food. It just gives you so much confidence in your decision for your big day, and it really takes away that unnecessary worry that some couples may have if they don't go visit it, wondering, is the experience going to be what they expect it to be? So this helps ensure that it is.
Yes, so if your schedule and budget allows it, would always recommend visiting on site. Again, like Sarah said, you can visit introduce yourselves to the wedding team, get to know the lay of the land, and really get a feel for what that wedding day is going to look like. Also, launch or update your wedding website. We're going to help you with that. We're going to put up all the details of the wedding day. All your guests can find travel info, RSVP details, and the full wedding itinerary. We'll help you create that, and we'll also have our information on there. If people want to reach out to us, they're always welcome to do that, and that's a big relief for a lot of our couples. They say, hey, I realized I just started this myself, and a lot of my friends and family have a lot of questions, and that's where we come in. Mm-hmm. One of our services is that you can just refer everyone our way. There's going to be a lot of questions about the wedding day, the resort, or maybe people that have never traveled internationally. They don't know what to expect getting through the airport. What's this resort all about? What's the lay of the land? What can I expect when I'm traveling? So that's where we come in.
And some couples will opt to still do a separate wedding website to manage the RSVPs specifically, but we will also be sending you an inventory report every other week, letting you know who is booked in the room block, giving you regular updates, and we'll also be meeting regularly to review that information.
Yes, the only last thing on this time frame, 9 months out, is if you're gown shopping, start that process sooner than later and start registering for gifts, or get an idea of what you are doing as a registry. Maybe you're going to do a honeymoon registry right afterwards, or just start getting an idea of what that's going to be for the wedding couple.
Yes, 5 to 6 months before, we're going to be working through all of the ceremony logistics. So we're going to be planning all of the specifics for your ceremony, your reception. We're going to be discussing, are you going to have a legal in-destination wedding? Are you going to do a symbolic ceremony, making sure you have all the right documents and paperwork in place? Working through vendors, that's another thing we're going to help you do. Give you florist recommendations, photographer recommendations. If you are going to be renting any outside decor or anything like that, we're going to be connecting you with trusted vendors in destination. We live in Mexico. We know these vendors well. So we'll be able to give you some great insight to help you lock in all of those details.
Another benefit of starting early, again, because if you were to take on this process yourself and you didn't meet with a wedding coordinator until 30 days out, or just a couple months out, you start realizing, hey, maybe I do need a photographer or a DJ. A lot of the good ones might be booked up. Mm-hmm. So you're just kind of left with, whatever's left.
Yeah, nobody wants that. At this point, we'll also book any group excursions or activities. Maybe you want to do a private catamaran as a bachelorette party, or you want to have a champagne, a brunch sunset, a brunch toast, send off. Any of those events that you are looking to plan for your wedding guests or your bridal party, we'll be able to also lock those in. If you're looking at doing a post-honeymoon stay, maybe switching to another resort, we'll be able to help you book your honeymoon stay as well. During this time, we're also going to be encouraging guests to book in the room block and get their reservations in. That's where those bi-weekly inventory reports are going to come in handy. You'll have your list of who you've sent save the dates to. You'll have a list from us of who's booked their rooms, and then you'll know who to touch base with based on, did they RSVP and maybe they haven't booked their room yet. You'll be able to give them a reminder. We're also happy to assist in this process. So if you have a list of people you want us to follow up with, you'll just send that to us and we'll follow up with them. Make sure that they have all the information that they need and answer any questions. Yes. The last thing in this 5 to 6 month before time frame would be ordering your dress and your bridal party attire. We want to make sure that you have plenty of time for alterations, and so we would recommend doing that 5 to 6 months before.
Yes. 4 months till wedding day. 4 months beforehand is when you want to mail formal invitations, and this is completely optional. Some of our couples opt out of it and just have the save the dates be their invitation, and everything else might be on their website. But if you want to do an actual mail one, now would be the time to do that, and you want to have all that information on there. Ceremony time, dress code, itinerary, just in case anyone forgets. Also, groomsmen, tux and suit rentals, make sure you have those ready to roll, have your sizes prepared for that, especially if you are going to do it in destination. or if you're going to be bringing it, we're going to give you some tips on how to bring that through customs, how to get it prepared and ironed out once you get on site. Also, reconfirm guest bookings and room block status. We'll check in to see if guests have booked and help you manage any unused room releases if your contract requires it. We can't stress that enough, because you don't want to be in penalty period contractually if you have rooms that haven't been booked, or maybe this might be a time that you need more rooms booked. Whatever the fine details are, this is when you want to get that ironed out, make sure those final numbers are correct.
Yes, so this is always something we'll be managing for you guys, your guest list, or all of your confirmed guests, making sure your rooms get released in time. We'll be reaching out to you if we need to add more rooms, all of these things that we touch base with. But again, just gives you a big sense of relief, because you don't have to manage all those details. We're going to be taking the reins on that and just touching base with you as we go. Once we get 2 to 3 months before, we're going to really confirm all of the officiant and ceremony logistics. So a lot of couples, if they're doing a symbolic ceremony, may opt to have a family member do the vows. And so we'll confirm all of those details, who's the officiant, make sure they're on file with the resort, all of those details. We're going to build your wedding itinerary. A lot of this is kind of dictated around the photo and video timeline. So once you've locked in your photographer and or videographer, we're going to be able to work with them on coming up with your wedding day timeline. Then we'll meet and we'll be able to review, make any adjustments to that, and make sure that everything that is important to you is a priority in that timeline. At this point, you're also going to want to start your seating chart. If you are looking to do assigned seating, then we're going to want to get assigned printed with all of the guest seating chart. And so again, working through all of those details, as well as following up with any late RSVPs. Maybe you had people that RSVP'd yes and haven't booked their room, or you, on the flip side of that, you have guests that RSVP'd. I forgot where I was going with that. Sorry, lost my train of thought.
Yeah, any final RSVPs on that? The only thing I was going to add to the previous one on start your seating chart is, if we are not on site, remember, any information you put together for that wedding assistant that's on site, they need to make sure it's very clear for them to read. What we tell our couples is that anyone should be able to pick up your seating chart. Any details that you have, how you want things laid out, need to be very, very clear. But yeah, following up with any late RSVPs, we'll get cinched up at that time.
And if that worries you, we do offer on-site services. A lot of our couples opt for this, so we can be there on their special day. We'll be there for up to 3 days of in-destination support, meeting their guests, answering any questions, making sure all of the wedding events go off without a hitch, and if anything comes up, we're dealing with that so you don't have to.
Yeah, you will have met with depending on the resort, you will have met with the on-site coordinator at that time, so you'll be introduced. Again, we'll have a Zoom meeting where all of us go through everything, make sure everything is ready to roll, what to expect, all the forms are submitted. So yeah, that's going to be, it depends on the resort. Some resorts are 30 days, most are 30 days out, some are 60, even 90 days out. So just depends on the resort. 6 to 3 weeks beforehand, you're going to finalize wedding details. We're going to make sure that everything is set up, ready to roll, decor, menu, cake, flower, music selections. There are certain forms that need to get submitted if there are certain songs that you don't want to hear or certain ones you do want to hear. The order of that. What does the walkout song look like? What is what is the I'm trying to think of the other father and daughter dance. All those are going to be set up, finalized at that time. Write your vows and finalize ceremony script. If you are going to be doing your own vows, you want to make sure those are prepared. And then review all guest flights and itineraries. That's where we come in again. We're going to make sure that we have everyone's flight information so that we can get that to the transfer company. So when they show up, they have somebody there ready to roll. Now, any updates, delays in those flights will be communicated with them as well.
And I will say, this is really where our value comes in, is following up with all of your guests, getting all of this information, making sure people are booked, making sure their flights are booked, making sure they have the right dates on the flights, making sure their transfers are in place. If you have people that haven't traveled abroad, making sure they know what to expect when going through customs. Those are all the things that you guys are busy, you're working, you have lives, you have families, Last thing you want to be doing is chasing around all of your wedding guests with all of these details. So let us take that stress off of you, and you just focus on the part of saying I do.
We love that. I love introducing myself to people who don't know, who have never traveled internationally. They don't know what to expect in Mexico. And I just love, getting them prepared for that. They're super excited. They know they're there for a wedding, but keep in mind, this is a vacation for your friends and family too, and that's what we try to prepare them for.
Yes, as we get to the last couple of weeks before the wedding day, we're going to be finalizing guest counts, making sure if anyone did book out of the room block that we have them accounted in the wedding events, because we want to make sure everybody has a place to sit. We're going to be sending them travel tips, itineraries, final documents, what to expect when they arrive, so much information to help them get prepared and excited, packing lists, all of the things that they need to just get ready to roll and be excited for your special day.
Yes. 1 week, 7 days beforehand, start packing. Make sure you have all the final, any items that you're going to be bringing, any details about how to get that through the airport. If you need some assistance, we're going to help you with that. Packing for not just the wedding, but the honeymoon, and also giving you some tips as, again, when you arrive, if you have your wedding gown or tux, how to prepare those. We're going to reconfirm any vendor meetings. It's not just reserving them. We're going to be in communication with them. Who's going to be where on the actual day of the wedding, who's going to be there to pick up the florals, who's going to meet with the photographer beforehand, just confirm the scheduling for them. So all
making sure the resort has a list of all the staff, your outside vendor staff names, so that when they arrive to the property, they're actually let into the property.
Yep, we're going to be, as we try to set up WhatsApp with everyone, make sure we can get a group chat going, everyone's communicating with everyone. Everyone is on the same page 7 days leading up to the wedding.
Yes, and at that point, we don't want you having to make any last minute adjustments or decisions. At this point, we want you in vacay mode. We want you to arrive 3 to 4 days before the wedding, have some time to unplug, relax, enjoy a romantic dinner together, and just start the celebration early. That is the most important part. I hope you guys found this timeline helpful. I know it is a ton of information, and when you're working with us, we give all of this to you in a check-off Excel document where you can check everything off as you go. We have regular meetings so we can check in, make sure that if you have questions or need recommendations, we provide those to you, and we work through all of those wedding planning details.
Yes, there is a lot that goes into a destination wedding, but with some proper planning and some guidance, it can actually be a very fun and enjoyable experience.
Yes, so if you are looking to plan a destination wedding, set up a time, schedule a complimentary consultation with us. We'd love to get to know more about you and your vision, see if we're the right fit for you, and see if you are the right fit for us. We would love to help you plan an unforgettable experience.
Hope you guys have a great rest of the week.
Safe travels.